Do I think he's innocent? Maybe.
Then why do you think he's behind bars?
Maybe if he had rocked out the poison, you know. Maybe if he had let a man play his tapes, who knows? Things could have gone different. But I'm the only one that knows.
You're the only one that knows what?
That I did it.
If you'd be so kind, would you mind introducing yourself for the podcast?
Sure. My name is Johan. I am the singer of Deranged, and I've been with the band since, I think, December 2016 or 15, something around there. It's like 3 years. And I have a background extreme music since 2005, when I and the drummer started Splattered Mermaids. It's an old band. And then I played with a bunch of other bands, ending up in Visceral Bleeding. And then I got joined to Deranged. So this is basically my life in a flash since 2005. Yeah.
Cool. So how did you end up joining Deranged? What was the process?
Actually, they're good friends of mine since the second gig I ever did was with Deranged. So I've been following these guys for a long time. And now the old singer didn't have the possibility to continue in the same way that they did before. So he had to quit, and they had to find a replacement quite quickly. And it was just basically a matter of time. It's a small circuit of musicians that play extreme music here. So it's like a matter of time before you get the question. And I got the question, and I would love to. So I joined directly, and I had 1.5 months to learn the set, and then we played 14 gigs. So it was intense start.
What year was this?
I would guess 2016, 2000. Actually, it must be 2016, 17. Fucking 20 now. So I joined 2016 in December. Then 17, we went out. Yeah, it should be 2017.
So
I might be wrong on the dates. I might be wrong on the dates.
No worries. So let's give people a little bit of background on Deranged. Where are you guys based? Are you guys living in the same city?
Actually, we're not. We're spread out over 2 cities. They're very close to each other, so it's like 10 minutes by train. So it's not too bad. But we're in the same sort of area, southern Sweden. We're now based in Malmö, and we've been based there since it's long before I joined. So I would say roughly 10 years. And it's been, it must be 10 years or something like that. Yeah.
Deranged is a Swedish death metal band, but unlike most of the bands that get tagged with Swedish death metal, I think when people think of Swedish death metal, they think of, either that Entomb style or that At the Gates style. And Deranged from the very beginning had this very fast, very intense, almost more American brutal death metal style.
Yeah.
Since you're friends with the guys, tell me about. Do you know how they developed the style and why they were so unique to the scene there?
I would say it came probably quite natural to them, since they were very into stuff like Napalm Death and Brutal Truth, like on the early days. So it was supposed to be fast as fuck and really brutal. And it was not about making hit songs or catchy things. It was just about, like, you want to get a punch in the face and just keep on punching. So it was always about this. And the style that they had, I think, very much derived from being interested in serial killers and all this early stuff in the extreme music scene. So I think they basically just came natural to them. You see, they are extremely into this scene in a way many people cannot say, like they can't compare to many people.
Yeah. So being so unique and different from the bands around them, did that ever cause any problems? Like, do they have problems getting tours or getting signed to a label or anything like that?
Well, I've been in the bands when we've had like a steady flow going, and I wouldn't say it's a big problem. It's like the people who like it, they are into it, so it's become sort of a cult and a cult following to it, and that is actually true. Like, you can really feel it. If someone book it, they really want to see it. No, I don't think it's been too much of a trouble. We've had some arguments over certain gigs, but that's quite common when you're in a band, and if you can play it or can't play it, it's always going to be like, if it's a deal or not. But that is because if it's a possibility to go there. If it's a possibility, the band would go there. But I mean, it's give or take in any band. So no, I don't think it's been any different from any other band that I played in, with gig-wise or label-wise. I think they have an easier time getting labels than some of other bands I played with, because of the name being so, having such a long legend time, sort of like it's almost infamous.
Yeah, I have to say, because I'm a little bit older, so I remember when, this style of old school Swedish death metal, like that Entombed Dismember kind of style. I remember when it wasn't as popular as it is now, and in fact, the complaint, ironically, was that there were too many bands doing it, which obviously has come to pass again. But if you looked at zines, U.S. zines from the '90s that weren't into Swedish death metal, or at least that style of Swedish death metal, Deranged was always very highly regarded because they're so fast and so brutal.
Really?
Yeah. I remember.
Really?
Yeah. And so even though the audience for brutal death metal is pretty small, it is like the people who love it are really fanatical about it, and spread out globally so that I think every city has.
That's awesome about that scene.
Yeah, I think every city at least has a couple brutal death metal bands who are in contact with each other and trade demos or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. It means so much to everyone who is into this music, so it's very obvious to see it. Like you have friends from not only in your own country but from other parts of the world, and that's quite unique to how fast you get new tracks from new bands, and you get tipped by somebody about checking out a small group that's starting out, or like bandmates from one band, they form another band with bandmates from another one. Word travels fast, and it's quite unique part of the scene, actually.
new album coming out on, I believe, March 27th, called Deeds of Ruthless Violence. And so, as you mentioned,
yes, sir.
As you mentioned, you're new to the band, so this will be your first recording of the band. Is that correct?
That's true. That's true. It's been quite an interesting ride, actually. I'm not much for going into the studio. I like the live part of playing music. I love to meet the people, but to be in the studio together is a unique experience where you really get to know each other. And this CD has been actually quite easygoing. There was not much tension. It was like everybody was focused on what we wanted to do. And it felt great from the beginning. So we entered into a different state of mind, so to speak, and just went into the studio, fucking did it, mixed it, listened to it. There it's done.
How long did it take you to write and record the album?
We spread it out actually a bit over some weekends. So I would guess 5-6 days in total, something like that.
Just for the recording?
Yeah, just for the recording. Mixing, I think you could add like 2 days, quite long fucking days, but 2-3 days.
Yeah. So this was recorded at Brno Studio in Malmö. Tell me about the studio.
Yeah, actually, he moved his studio. So now he was based in Malmö, but now he's based on the eastern part of this area, the southern of Sweden, which is called Skåne. So the eastern part is at his house, actually. So we recorded it at his house.
Oh, sorry. What's the name of the producer?
His name is actually the same as the studio, Brno.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Brno Paulson.
Brno Paulson. Okay.
He was this was the first time I worked with him. So it was a quite interesting experience. I heard a lot about him before, and there's multiple bands that played with him or recorded, had the stuff mixed there. So it was very, very fun and humbling to be there. It was fucking brilliant guy, actually. He hears things that no one else thinks, like you would not notice them. So it's quite amazing, actually, to watch him work.
Yeah, he's quite well regarded. He's worked with people like Amon Amarth, The Crown, and Witchery. Is there a specific reason you guys decided to work with him?
It's a long, ongoing relationship from the bands and his part. He recorded quite a lot of the earlier stuff as well. And I think the old guitarist, Johan, I think if I'm correct, I think he worked in the studio as well. So there was like, he's a go-to guy for Deranged, and with very good reasons for it, because he knows what the band wants to sound like, and he understands what the band wants to form with the music. So it's never anything like having a pop producer trying to do something with the sound. He just knows. He goes in and is like, okay, this is what we're going to do. So I think it is also, everything comes sort of natural to Deranged. Like you go to a studio and you want to, instead of explaining and trying to find records you want to sound like, he knows from the beginning. So you just go in and actually record the CD for what it is. And he puts the Deranged into what it can sound like on a CD. Or a vinyl, for that matter.
We should talk about vinyl in a little bit. I would like to talk about the music of the new album, because I don't think any advanced tracks have been released yet. What can you tell me about the music? How would you compare it to the previous Deranged albums?
Actually, I would say it's natural progression from Struck, the Struck CD. It sounds like you mix parts of the early stuff, and then you put it in a Struck sort of setting. So this, to me, it's like we're doing another part of like a continuation of this murderous rampage that was on Struck, but doing it with a completely new soundscape. So it's heavy songs, it's fast songs. You have the technicality and the brutality, but you also have some new elements which make it distinguish it from like the other records in the catalog. So it's not so like the old stuff was brilliant. It was easy going for me. Like it was, you could listen to it and just embrace it. And Struck added a little bit more of the different kinds of styles in songwriting. And this record goes both back and takes it from what they did and learned with the Struck album. We take it into a new direction, which I think is quite nice, actually. It sounds really unpleasant. Like it's gritty, it's heavy, it's brutal, it's deranged, exactly like you want it to be.
That's excellent. Earlier you mentioned Deranged lyrics. Deranged have always had very extreme, very gory lyrics. What can you tell me about the lyrics this time around?
The lyrics are actually also the same thing. It's more of the gory guts, fuck the corpse kind of style, but we put it. Is it a true story, dude? But we put much effort into taking stuff from real life. So you have actual letters from serial killers. You can see that in earlier songs as well. It's not too early, but Hello from the Gutters is actually a letter written by Berkowitz. So we take these things and we put it into a setting of extreme music. So you have an extreme person doing extreme deeds, and we put it into extreme music. And we try to do this with all the songs, so they're all based in some way of something in humanity's darkest sides. So an obvious way is that it's more of the same, and it's a continuous well of inspiration. We're all quite interested in the aspect of these heinous killings, and to put it into songs and to elaborate them into our own style is quite like, it gives you something more than to write some fictional gory tale about some Stephen King novel. It's an actual event, but it might not be portrayed the way the listener perceive it as real.
Yeah, it's as if Deranged was doing the true crime genre before it actually became popular with all these Netflix series and podcasts. Yeah,
exactly. We are doing detective work for detectives, but for gore fanatics.
So we don't have time to go over all the lyrics, but I did want to ask you about one song, just based on the song title, because it stuck out to me. The song is "I Send You Half the Kidney I Took."
Yeah.
Tell me about this. Tell me about the inspiration for this song.
This lyric is actually one of my favorite ones. This is a letter sent to a politician, or like a city official at least, by Jack the Ripper. So this is an actual letter, but from what people think. And he sent it with half the kidney that he took. So it is misspelled because he was not very good at spelling, and you will see it. It's exactly as the letter is. So it's quite interesting. It gives it a very unsettling feeling when you read the lyrics and you know that it's quite possible the guy who actually was Jack the Ripper. So I like that. I like that lyrics probably the most on the record, I must say, because we left it untouched.
So the lyrics are the exact letter that was sent to the police.
Yeah, that he explains that he actually sent half the liver as well, and he explains it in the letter. I think they actually have on, like, you can find it on the internet to see it as well. The handwritten letter. It's written in blood.
I think is this the Dear Boss letters?
Yeah.
So I'm not a big follower of true crime stuff, except through metal lyrics.
Yeah.
But I am somewhat familiar. Yeah, but I am somewhat familiar with the Jack the Ripper case, just because Alan Moore did a whole 12-issue graphic novel about it. I don't know if you ever read From Hell.
Oh yeah, From Hell. Yeah. That's fucking excellent.
Besides that song, is there any other song on the album that you want people to look out for? Or
I think all of them has a very unique touch, but I would say Quarantine is a I guess you didn't have the full set of song titles for the album.
No, just what's on the Bandcamp page.
So Quarantine Required for All Living Entities. I actually forgot the last word. That song, I really like the tone of it. All through the song, it's quite dark, and it's a very groovy, very towards Morbid Angel, towards that style, but sort of like if you listen to the earlier song Hello from the Gutter, like this is a completely different version in a setting which is very unsettling to listen to, and I fucking like it. Very groovy song. I think it will be fun to play live.
So before I let you go, tell people what's next for Deranged. What do you guys have planned?
Well, we have, from before we release the album, we will start playing gigs as much as we humanly possible can. So we will just go out there, make our shows, try to get even better at what we do, make it brutal, play faster, make it more groovy, drink beers, enjoy ourselves, and meet all the wonderful fans and all the great people that we met so far, and new people. So I guess we have a lot of things to do, and we look forward to it extremely much.
Yeah, starting at the end of February, you guys have a pretty extensive tour schedule. Like, I'm seeing dates from Russia, Spain, a bunch of festivals throughout the continent.
Yeah, we're going back and forth from home, more or less. And almost all of us has work, so we're going from work, travel, back to work, travel, back to work, travel. So it's going to be quite intense spring and leading up to summer for some festivals.
Because I'm based in Malaysia, I have to mention that Deranged played the region back in 2011 and 2016. Are there any plans for them to come back?
Oh, we would love to. Definitely, we would love to. I've only heard the greatest things about it, and I actually was kind of jealous not being able to go. So definitely we want to come back. It's in the future. We just have to make it happen.
The upcoming Deranged album is called Deeds of Ruthless Violence. It'll be out March 27th through Agonia Records and also through Indie Merch Store in the US. Is that right?
Yeah, sir. It is.
Tell people how they can order this album and how they can listen to it once it's out.
Or you can order it through Agonia themselves or through the Indie Merch Store. Or if you would like, you could order it from us directly, and you could just hit us up on Facebook. I think would be the easiest way. Otherwise, you should definitely come to our shows. and we will be there, drink a beer with you, and you will enjoy the time. Listen to some good music.
So one last thing about the album. Agonia has a bunch of physical releases and some special vinyl releases for the album. Do you want to say anything about that?
Rickard was the one who took care of most of those things. Rickard and Andreas, our bass player and our drummer. So I don't know too well about the releases, but I can say that from the vinyls, what I know, they look fucking cool. So I'm unfortunately, I don't know too much about them.
Yeah, people can go to the Agonia page or to Agonia's Bandcamp page and see all the special releases. I'm looking at some pictures now, and there's like a red transparent vinyl version, and there's
the blood spatter version,
white, kind of smoky.
Yeah,
and there's another white version, and so all these physical releases look pretty cool. Agonia always does some very cool limited edition physical releases. So
yeah, they make it amazing actually. Through all my bands is definitely one of the most serious record labels I've worked with, and they make it good on their promises. So I'm fucking proud to be together there working with them.
So you mentioned the Deranged Facebook page. Is that the best way to follow the band?
Definitely. And we have from there all the different pipelines to everything else that we're doing. But I would say Facebook would be the easiest way to get in touch with us. We would hit your back as soon as we can. So definitely the best way.
Is there anything else you want to say?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Johan.
I had a lot of fun.